Oh, right. Sorry. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, everybody, to the Saturday Morning Mastermind. I'm your host, Samantha Studebaker-Carl, broadcasting to you live from Indianapolis, Indiana. And I'm here with my good friends, Catherine and Sandy, and then Chris is trying to get on here as well. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about how to discover greatness in yourself. And the reason we're talking about that, let me catch myself up here. We're studying the book. Can you read that? Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, Living the Wisdom of the Tao by Wayne Dyer. Do I have that right? Slide up. Yeah. And we are on chapter 34, which discusses verse 34 of the Tao Te Ching, and it talks about living the great way. But before we get going, I want to give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves. And for those of you who are watching, obviously, if you're on here with us, you're live. But if you're watching us on YouTube, then this is recording. And I want to just kind of remind everybody that you can jump over to mindsetmasterycollective.com. That's where we have all of our live broadcasts, our recorded broadcasts, as well as the blog posts that we've written along with that. You can jump in the conversation. Again, that's mindsetmasterycollective.com. And you can find the most up-to-date one or information on our upcoming broadcasts if you go to SaturdayMorningMastermind.com. Okay, so with that, guys, go ahead and jump out, and then we'll start this discussion. Who wants to come out first?
I'll jump out. Good morning. This is Catherine Clement from Boulder, Colorado. And we were down in the 40s last night, so it's sweater time again.
Oh my goodness. I can't imagine. Good morning, Sandy Rooted. Hot Miami Beach. Wow, what month is it? August? 40s already? Wow, okay. Looking forward to the discussion. Welcome, everybody.
Thankfully, it's only gets that way at night, and during the day, it's still really nice, warm fall weather.
That's good because, man, it is way too early in the year to get cold yet. Oh, I'm not excited about it getting cold here. Not at all. But roll with it, right? So, Chris, can you unmute, or are you still trying to figure out how to get on with video? Are you there still?
Area, and I'm glad to be here today.
Oh,
I'm going to
awesome.
come back now. All right. See you girls in a minute.
Okay. Cool. So, greatness in ourselves. Discover greatness. So what do you guys think? Let's read this first. That's what we need to do first. Kind of lost my train of thought. It's just the 3-4 of us. And I would think Jason was going to get on here today, too, since he wrote the blog post. But maybe he got hung up with something. I don't know. Who wants to read it?
I can. You hear me? Okay, 34th verse. The great way is universal. It can apply to the left or the right. All beings depend on it for life. Even so, it does not take possession of them. It accomplishes its purpose, but makes no claim for itself. It covers all creatures like the sky, but does not dominate them. All things return to it as their home, but it does not lord it over them. Thus it may be called great. The sage imitates this conduct. By not claiming greatness, the sage achieves greatness.
Thank you, Sandy. Welcome, Karen. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I have to remember to put my mic somewhere in the vicinity of my mouth.
Awesome, welcome. So, guys, I had a thought that just popped into my head about this verse, and now I think I lost it. Okay, so here we go. There's Chris. Now we can see you. Awesome. So how many people do you guys know, or can you think of somebody, maybe we just kind of throw it out there, can you think of somebody who kind of is similar to what it says here at the end? The sage imitates this conduct by not claiming greatness, but he achieves greatness, or she achieves greatness. Can you think of somebody who exemplifies that? Or I think of an example. Who wants to share? Go ahead, Chris.
I think many great leaders have shown that, or at least many of the people that I look to as great leaders, like Gandhi and JFK, and people that they could say a little bit and just say a whole lot, kind of like these verses, they just are so short. And even the chapter on the book in this one was like really, really short, but it says a lot. And I had a really good example of this recently, actually, where someone was a really amazing person, but like they knew it and that's all they talked about all the time, and it kind of took a little bit of their greatness away, if you know what I mean. It kind of, not really, but it's just like, okay. but I mean, there's nothing wrong with being proud of, having self-esteem and being proud of accomplishments and things too. There's just that balancing point somewhere where sometimes the teeter-totter goes the wrong way. But I like, you could probably list a list this big of, leaders that are just soft-spoken, but they lead and people recognize it, even if they don't recognize what exactly it is within them. They just know that they're different. And welcome, Marcia. Glad you could make it, honey.
I'd like to share what came to my mind, and it's a little odd and strange to me even right now, and it's totally different from what you were sharing, Catherine. I'm thinking about my paternal grandmother, and she was, I think she was like 4'9", and it didn't seem long before us kids, were taller, and of course we thought we were greater. But I think of her so often. She has been gone so long. My goodness. She passed away when I was in college, and I didn't make it home. That's forever ago. But she certainly, as I look back, she certainly led me and set an example and a pace for me, and I'm sure she never thought a minute that great could ever apply to her. I know she didn't contemplate how great she was, or even, I don't remember her ever saying, as kids do, why do I have to do this? I don't remember her ever saying, because I'm your grandma. So I think I'll just leave it with that for the moment.
Welcome, Kareem. Glad to have you on this morning. We can't hear you. Well, welcome, Marcia, too. I saw you jump on. If you want to unmute, you're welcome to introduce yourself and say hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Yeah, just had to plug in my mic. Yeah, how you doing?
Doing good. Awesome, awesome. So we're kind of sharing examples of great people that we've met or know or heard of or read about or anything like that, to kind of exemplify that, what it was saying here at the end of the verse about they look great, they exude the greatness, but yet they don't sit there and boast about it. Who can you think of?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. One person I actually know is Marcia. Marcia has helped me out a lot, and she's a really good coach. She showed me a program I'm working in right now, but she's not like, yeah, I'm awesome, I'm the best, ever. You gotta say how great I am or any of that kind of stuff. Also, my parents. I mean, granted, sometimes we have our differences and we don't always agree on stuff, but they're not necessarily like boasting like, yeah, we raised you and everybody else and we're awesome. And because generally I found when people have time to brag, they don't have time to work on themselves.
Well, thank you, Kareem. That was really a nice thing to say about me. I do appreciate that. But I've always been the type of person, though, that, if I were to be in even a physical job where I, go to the office, I kind of like the behind the scenes stuff where, nobody really knows what I'm doing, but I'm doing something, I like that kind of feeling. I don't need to be out there. I can't even imagine what it would be like to be public speaking, Kareem. It's like not on my agenda, that's for sure. I gotta give you credit for really taking the ball and stepping up to that plate for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Who is iPhone?
I guess I'm.
Hello, Chris. Yeah, jump out, Chris.
Good morning. Yeah. Hi, Jason. Hi, everyone. Yeah, that was good. That was a really good example Karen gave about grandparents. What I was thinking about that was also I was thinking about my own father. And what I was thinking about was we go through life and we experience a lot of blessings from our parents. Usually, whether it's we could have a mixed experience depending on what it's like, but usually we're grateful when we go through a lifetime with a person. And a lot of times, most of us do not come from famous families. Certainly some people do. But, more often than not, the life just goes on with only a few people knowing them. And so you come to sort of appreciate all that they've done in life.
Yeah, I think that's a good point that you made there about our parents and grandparents, and how they can make such a big influence on our lives that way. Welcome, Jason. Glad to have you on. You wrote a great blog post this week. Thank you for that.
Cool, thanks. Thanks a lot, Jeff. Great to be here. Apologize for being late, but thanks for that. And yeah, it was, this is a great verse. I mean, it's about greatness, so I guess it should be great. But it is. I mean, it kind of gets you thinking. As to what your normal thoughts about greatness are, and maybe kind of dig a little deeper into all the different levels of greatness that might be perceived. But yeah, I mean, I started writing that and it kind of went in all different directions. I'm like, okay, let's pull it back in, and so we can just have something people can get directed to the mastery mindset mastery. But yeah, so where are we with this discussion? I'm not sure if I know. I mean, I didn't quite. I kind of came in the middle of it, and
Yeah.
the end of what Kareem was saying.
Right on. We were kind of starting the discussion with just sharing anybody we know of or who we've seen or read about or anything like that who kind of exemplifies that, is a great person, or what we see them as a great person, but yet they don't boast about it or, make a big deal out of that sort of thing. Think of anybody?
Well, I was just thinking the other day about, it was like yesterday or the other day when I was thinking about something you said about, I think it was, being the person that's, picking up things and putting down the lid on the toilet and all those little things that, people do that we do and we don't, we just, it needs to be done. So we do it and we don't really say anything about it. And I think, even though it'd be nice that other people should feel the same way and help out and get it done as well, but we just kind of do it. And so I think that's great. I mean, everybody has a level of greatness, and we unfortunately, I think we tend to get great at things that are within our comfort zone, and then that sort of limits ourselves. So I think it's also great when we can step out of our comfort zone, even for a little bit, and try something new and do those things that sort of well up inside us, a little bit of angst, but we get it done anyway because it's because we know it's something, it's actually going to be good for us, though it may not feel good at the first time we do it. So being able to handle our emotions and try new things and accomplish new things, even though they might not be great in the eyes of others, they certainly are, in our own eyes, and we never really know whose other perspective we might be having an impact on. So even the little things count. I just wanted to bring that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Donna, is that you? Did you just jump in by phone? You can *6 to unmute.
Yes, good morning. Zoom and I are not compatible this morning, but I hopped on there. I just can't see you guys. It's just good to hear your voices. It's awesome. Me.
Glad to have
you. All righty. Yes, ma'am. Carry on.
Right on. Well, we were kind of talking about people who exemplify greatness but don't boast about it, or aren't all full of themselves. So if you can think of somebody and you want to jump out and share that, then just do so.
She is one.
Yes, absolutely. My goodness. Oh, goodness, Donna. I've seen some of your videos recently, and they're just you're awesome. I appreciate so much what you do, and you have so much to share with the world. So who else can think of somebody that exemplifies greatness?
I'll hop out. I mean, Gandhi keeps coming to my mind, like these big names. But I think greatness is there's a humbleness to it. Because I can think of examples of people where they are great, but they boast about it, and it becomes this turnoff. Like you were sort of saying something along those lines, Catherine, in the beginning about when people talk about their greatness so much, it's like, and it reminds me of some examples, and I think I mentioned this before, like people too who say that they're enlightened. Like if you're really enlightened, you want to go around saying I'm enlightened. That becomes a turn off when people say that, because it's like, if you're enlightened, you want to say, go around saying.
Yeah, you just live it.
Right. And so it's like, are you really enlightened then? And then I saw, and like Wayne brought up in the book, there's greatness in everybody, and if we look at everybody and everything, every being, the trees, the plants, animals, everything, there's greatness in them. And it reminds me of a post I saw yesterday from a friend who, he's having a sort of bad day and sort of down about something. And he went for a walk, and there was a homeless guy asking for money. And he said, oh, I'll buy you something, because he was going to go get a cupcake to go make himself feel better. So he's like, I'll buy you something when I'm in the store. And he came out and he bought him a cupcake to the homeless guy, and they started chatting. And, the guy, he asked him why he was homeless. And he said, oh, his wife had passed recently, and he sort of just gave up. And but the way my friend had wrote about it, they had seen the greatness in each other in that moment. Because someone's homeless doesn't mean what we may think it means. There's a reason, and there's a greatness in them too. There's a greatness in every being. So taking the time to really look at that and appreciate that in every being, I think is a special thing.
I think animals are great, and they don't boast about it.
Yeah, I'll throw out my birds. They never tell me how awesome, but they're pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that animals are the perfect example, aren't they? They're the ones that just are, they just go, and do, and they don't think twice about it. They just keep on loving, keep on striving, keep on full of that energy up until the very last, which just amazes me, and they never take anything personally, and they never get upset. I mean, you have the dogs that, they bark at people and whatnot, but that's not the same thing. It's like they think that's what they're supposed to do, and that's part of their, it's part of their makeup, right? But as far as just, I don't know, I think that they're a perfect example in so many ways to really look at, even if they're kind of fighting with each other, in the wild. They go and they have their little fight, and then they go about their way, and they don't take that with them and make their lives miserable because they had this fight with this other animal, right? They just keep on going, and they just keep on living, right? And I think that's how we should be too. Karen, what about you? Have you think of anybody that is great, that exemplifies greatness? What do you think?
Well, I had mentioned my grandmother, but when you were talking about the animals, we've got a fresh new batch of puppies, and we have a couple of little, they must be a Maltese mix of some sort, which always makes me think of carrying tiny little rugs on their back. And we have two that are black, and I had lost track of one this morning. We had heard from the big dogs wanting to come in, and I'd let them in, and we have one of those that's just a pain in my patootie, and I thought the one that was missing had felt pretty skin and bones, no, not any excess muscle or anything. And so I really put a concentrated effort out to look for this little dog, and thought, that I think it's a he. He might be in this corner, and the corner is kind of dark. But I did see the movement of this little black tail, and I thought, oh, good, that's a good sign. And as he came out, I said, I am so glad you are so smart to know where to go to protect yourself. No, there wasn't any waiting for fanfare or a ticker parade or anything like that. Just came out, and I was just so relieved. And I do think that there are lots of things when you put your mind to it and you look around, you really can see greatness. You can see, I have a bougainvillea bush that's in front of my window that's now, I don't know how many years old, but it's really quite large. And I think about, I don't know if I personify things too much, but I think about how willing it is to have birds come in there and make all kinds of noise, probably make some nests in there. carry on, get attention. And through the summer, I'm near Phoenix, so it's really hot in this area. In the summer, you don't see birds hardly at all, at least not around me, and they're not even trying to seek the shade there. But the bougainvillea tree, the bougainvillea bush, still does its thing. When you look out the window and that's the color that you see, and that's the life that you see as the wind comes through the leaves and stuff, you gain an affinity with it, and you gain an appreciation for it, and you realize how much of the things that are around us really do not require accolades. They just really don't. I think that's really neat.
So right there with you, Karen, on that, especially with nature. I mean, it's just amazing. I think I mentioned in one of the previous discussions, I can't remember what we were talking about, but I think I was talking about kind of not taking things personally and getting upset about whatever, and using nature as an example, because we have these two trees in the front yard that they're both pretty good sized trees. And of course, one is kind of getting more sun than the other one, and the one that's not getting as much sun, it's obviously, we say obviously, but it could get upset about that, right? It's not getting upset about it. It's just growing more on the other side, and I think that that's a really great, it's a lesson that we can learn, if we're looking for those lessons, right? Is that we can look at nature and we can see how it can exist, and it can flourish, and it can be abundant, and it can also have a neighbor right next to it doing the exact same thing, and they're not in competition with each other, right? What a powerful lesson that is. Did you want to jump out, Don? I hear you. Nope. Okay. Right on. I wanted to share I saw a post on Facebook, and I don't remember who posted it. Maybe it was Donna. I don't know. I only get so many people in my feed for the most part. I have everybody kind of favorited in there, so I see who I want to see. But there was a post about this woman who, back in the time of the Nazis and all of that, she was smuggling babies and children out of the country so that they could survive that Holocaust time, right? And she wasn't jumping up and down asking for praise for it or anything like that, but she saved thousands of children because of what she was doing. And she never really got any major recognition from it. It wasn't like, she just did it because she felt compelled to do it, right? And that was what she felt was important at that time in her life, and that was what she was supposed to do. And I thought that was just a really powerful story there to remind us that it's that stuff that's inside of us, whatever it is that's inside of us that's compelling us to do something for whatever reason that might be. It may be small, it may be big, it may be somewhere in the middle. But that's where that greatness is. It's just following that inner guidance and doing what you feel compelled to do. That's all I had for the moment. Let's jump out.
No, that's real good. I like that a lot. It's about you were just mentioning, Samantha, about people who do kind of good deeds or do good things, and people don't notice it. It reminds me of this show they've had about for 5 years on CNN called The Heroes Show. And I don't know if you've seen it, but then they have all these superstars and the famous people there, but they pick about 10 people around the world. I don't know if you've seen it, and they've done really extraordinary acts for their community, or some kind of humanitarian, really great work. And it reminds me of that, and you were saying Gandhi, and of course Mother Teresa came to mind too. People like that they're like, they come to mind in terms of humbleness. And like also I was thinking about a tree. You were mentioning a tree. I think it was Karen. You know, a tree seems like to me, and animals, to me, that seems like they don't really have an ego. Like I see where animals have a personality, and you know, and they have emotions, but it doesn't seem like they really have an ego in the human sense of the word. And definitely, it doesn't seem like trees have an ego. I think of the redwoods.
I think that, you know, the firemen, police officers, people like that in public service positions, I think they are amazingly great. And many of them, you know, most of them quite humble. You know, that's their job. They look at it, you know, differently, whereas they are other people's heroes every day. And even, like, to me, this may sound kind of weird, but because I don't eat fast food, but I used to. And I remember like how grateful I would be to go into some place when I was like so starving. I felt like I was about to fall over, you know, and have someone serve me food, even if it was fast food, because I've worked jobs like that. And those are very difficult jobs to get up and go to every day. Seriously. I mean, it kind of takes greatness just to put up with some of the things that entails. Sadly, I don't think our pay scales are quite appropriate, or, you know, like where they should be, as far as, nothing against athletes, because they're amazing and they deserve recognition and good pay too, but it just seems like it's a little weighted on their side, as opposed, I'd like to see some of the everyday heroes get some more pay and recognition for what they do. And I wanted to bring up, there's a lot of old poets. Like I have a book that I collect poetry in, and I was thinking, many of these that I have in this book are from, like this one's from the year 974 to 10,000 or 1034, somewhere in that is when this poem was written, and this one was written in 1200 to 1253, and they're very short but powerful. Like this one from Izumi Shikabu or something, I don't know how to say. It says, watching the moon at dawn, solitary, mid-sky, I knew myself completely, no part left out. And that's it. They're just very short, but like to me, they're very potent and powerful. Or this one by Dojan is, midnight, no waves, no wind, the empty boat is flooded with moonlight. And I think when people can, like when I read that, I can picture that completely, you know, even though it was captured in just a few words. So there's a lot of people can show greatness through their words sometimes, in simplicity.
So how about this? Or not how about, but let me ask you this. Who can you think of, or just thoughts on somebody who exemplifies greatness, who they don't even know it? Can you think of somebody in your life maybe that they don't even realize they are great?
I was just about to jump out after Catherine because she sparked something. Chris will know where this came from, but there was a man who jumped on a conference call yesterday, and he said that his sister had died the night before. And I may not have followed exactly what he was saying, from the correct perspective or from his perspective, but he was saying that she was all into reality shows, and he's become quite a leader in business and online and just kind of in general. And I knew that he was probably saying that, as a, kind of the best kind of thing that he could think of. Sometimes for your siblings, you kind of go, what is this one up to? Okay, watches reality shows. But he carried that forward to how many people had come in and out of the room where she had been or apparently was dying. Again, I don't know the whole thing, but they were all remarking about her insights and how much they had gained from the insights that she had shared with them. And I just kind of thought, how often we're on a different track or a different path than someone else, and we don't see much of value in what they're doing. And then something happens to cause us to take a different look, and we realize even though we were not maybe influenced all that greatly, there were people who were. And then this is going to seem a little bit silly, but this is the thing I was thinking first of all, as Catherine was talking. There's a story about a little girl who has 2 apples, and she's taking a bite out of each one, and her mother's thinking, possibly even saying, how selfish, because now who can eat another apple? And she takes 1 apple and she hands it to her mom, and she says, "This is the best one." And I thought, children do great things all the time. And a lot of times we misinterpret what they are. And so I don't know if I answered anything, but that's what I had to share. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Karen. That was really great. I love how you were talking about the people that maybe it's a family member, you don't know what they're doing, and you're kind of judging whatever it is that they're doing. You have no idea how they're impacting the world and or impacting other people in another part of their lives. That's powerful. And I think we see that a lot in the home business industry, where we can see the greatness in folks, but yet their families keep dogging them out like they're, something wrong with them or whatever, and it's sad. It's like we were with some friends just recently, and they were talking about a member of their family who had taken their whole family, packed up in an RV and went RVing. And I'm thinking, great, that's awesome for them. That's so amazing that they went on that adventure, right? And they're sitting there talking about them like they're like the scum of the earth, And I'm like, what is that? I mean, they're just so blind to all other aspects of life that they can't even see how what that family did was actually something that was pretty amazing. I mean, who's got the courage to do that? Not that many people have the courage to take up and do something just completely drastic in their lives and make a big change like that. But I think it was amazing, and it was just sad that those folks didn't see it that way. But of course, who knows? That's their point of view, and that's all right too. Everybody has their own point of view, but that was a good point, Karen. Thank you for sharing that. Does anybody else think of somebody that exemplifies greatness and maybe they don't even know it? Oh, come on. I know you can think of somebody.
Samantha Studebaker Carl. She puts on this thing every morning, and she's not like, man, My mastermind's the best, better than all of them. So there you go. And Catherine clapped, but her audio was off, so we couldn't hear it.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. I think I'm amazed at each one of you. I really am. I mean, as long as we've been doing this thing, and the insights that I have gained from listening to you guys have just been amazing to me. I've grown so much from doing this mastermind and connecting with all of you. It just, I'm so grateful, so very grateful to have each one of you on here with me and learning from you as well. Thank you.
I second that.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I can't. This is. Well, I'm not apologizing or anything when I say this, but all is good. I don't feel like having to go into the details and in between. But yeah, there's a lot of people come to mind when you said that, Samantha. And since we're here in the now, in the moment with this present verse and book, I agree with what everyone else said. At this point, I'm saying because I've thought about how I wasn't with you in the beginning of this group. Not sure if I'll be able to hang out to the ending of the group. Just being real, okay, and being realistic here. But Kareem was so spot on with that. I thought of you immediately when you asked that question because, when I first met or saw you I won't go rehash all of that, but there was just something and it's not to paint anything of what I'm about to say. Please don't take it any other way. It's just that you started something. And you're probably thinking in your mind, well, I don't know how this thing's going to end. And you probably thought that when you first started. But, I'm going to say this and I'll be through with it. You started something great. And ever how it ends up, it'll finish just the way it was intended to finish because you're doing something different. It's unique. You've had your challenges. But right now you're feeling like the rough edges is going to have to smooth out sometime. And although you probably thought about, well, I just feel like it's time to give it up for you at this point, if you allow me to. I just feel like it's just that time. I've seen a lot of times, I've seen merges come about in many kind of ways. I've seen things, and this is not to paint anything. I'm just saying in my spirit, and so it's okay. I have to share because I feel like it's being selfish if I don't share. Because when you encourage someone, you do it because you know in your spirit that person was genuine in what they done. And I'm sure you didn't do anything to be seen of anybody. But I'm just so proud of you, Samantha, and what you've done. And I'm saying this with humbleness of heart now. I don't like to get too emotional on folks because it does come out sometimes. But your little group done something inside of me that I'll never be able to say in words. I'll never be able to do it. But whatever happens and whatever you do, if you can possibly keep it together, do your best, and I'll do my best. And I'm sure the rest of them probably feels the same way. And this verse, I can't say I have a problem with the Dr. Wayne on this verse, but this verse just kind of hit me pretty hard because I feel like that, and I am like that. It makes me uncomfortable. I've always felt like don't put me out there. Please keep me in the background. I prefer the background, and I've seen here lately that I've been pushed out of that cocoon, so to speak, and it's causing me to want to go back in that cocoon, but something inside of me said, you're going to have to come out, you're going to have to do it now, and I won't be able to share all that with you guys, but only, the others that are involved know what I'm talking about. But just know, if this will help someone, a listener, when it's rubbing, a lot of people say, well, you're in your comfort zone. No, you're not. Your comfort zone is definitely your uncomfort. That's backwards. I know that sounds backwards. But, Your comfort zone is different than other people's comfort zones. You always know that. And simple is not and will never be easy. It's running with the pack and the flow that's the hardest part. I mean, that's the easy part. I'm sorry, I got to see, that's one of my weaknesses. Let me say this again. If you acknowledge and bloop, and I call them bloopers, and say, oh my God, there you go. It don't matter how it comes out. Just figure it out, what I'm trying to say. Reverse what I'm trying to say. Easy is difficult. Simple is difficult. Running with the pack is so easy. If that makes any sense. I'm trying to get it out, but put a little blurb out there on the thing last night before I went to bed. I feel like the turtle right now. But I'm still moving along. I'm moving along. So you guys, I love you. I don't mean to take up so much time, but I just had to say that, Samantha. If I never say it again, I owed you that out publicly. I owed you that one. Love y'all. Bye.
Oh, thanks, Donna. Thanks for sharing that. Oh.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. I love the way you put that, Donna. And I can't deny that for myself, being part of this group has really helped me a lot. Not just the books that we discussed, but just you guys have really impacted my life as well. And it's on all these different levels. It's not just getting out and being a participant here, but it's so many things that are personal to me that I've been able to address and come out on the other side actually feeling better, not just beat up from it. So I really have to thank you all, and each one of you that I've managed to meet and talk and outside of this mastermind. You've really helped me a lot. So I appreciate you guys being here to be a sounding board and to mastermind with. And I think that you guys, I wouldn't think that you're any less great if you gave yourself your own pat on the back and shouted it to the world or anything like that. It wouldn't change you in my mind at all. I love you guys. I really do. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. Man, I have my moments sometimes where I'm like, gosh, what am I doing this for? And this is why, guys. This is why, because I just enjoy being with you guys so much, and I learned so much from you, and I know that it's funny because I wonder sometimes, I'm like, we only have a few of us getting on this call, right? And so I wonder a lot of times, are we really making a difference? Are we making any difference in the world? Are we changing anything? Are we helping anybody, And then I get these random reminders that, somebody will send me a message and be like, oh, I appreciated so much what you guys said in that video. And I'm like, who's this person? They're just like this random person out there in the world I've never seen before. And I didn't even know they were watching. And here they are getting something from what we're doing here. And that's those little things that just, they keep me going, and you guys keep me going. And I'm so glad that you all keep coming back, because I know in my heart that we are helping people. And even though sometimes it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on, there's a lot more people watching than what we realize. I mean, we've been doing this for such a long time. And I know, we kind of have these long discussions, right? Every week we talk for an hour. And I know that, most people don't watch a video for an hour every single time, right? But they do jump in there and they do watch and they do get they catch insights and they learn things. And I think that that's just absolutely amazing. And I'm thankful. If it wasn't for you guys, this wouldn't even be happening, because I don't think I could have done it by myself for very long, right? Wow. So anybody have any final thoughts on this chapter before we wrap up for today? I want to really see if we can share some final things on greatness. How about this? How about we talk about how you can find that greatness in yourself? That was kind of what we started out with, is discover the greatness in yourself. What do you guys have as far as advice on discovering that greatness in yourself? Because I think a lot of people struggle with that. They don't see it in themselves, and so they don't think they're really doing much. How can we help them?
You know, I was thinking about my own path in life. And how long have you been doing this call, Samantha?
Let's see. I think 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is awesome.
Because I started it in February or March, and I know, I was in Georgia for almost 3 years, and I'd been doing it for, I don't know, I think we're about 3.5 years, give or take. I suppose I could go back to the very first one and figure out when that was posted and know for sure, but that's my guess.
Oh, well, we're grateful that you've kept it going on, and it's really something we appreciate. Yeah, and the other person that's coming to mind, because I remember I've been listening to him for 20 years, but when I saw him on TV, it was a PBS special, and it was about a month after he passed away, and it was Dr. Wayne Dyer. And when I saw him, I thought, because it sort of hit me that he had just passed, and I thought, that is really close to the type of person I'd like to be. I really was grateful for him. And so I'm really glad that we're going over his teachings. My mother comes to example as a great person, and her mother too. And Wayne Dyer kind of was a pretty humble type of guy in this sort of spiritual field. So thanks, you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate being part of this.
Yeah, awesome, Chris. Yeah. Well, you're great too, man. And and I hadn't thought about it. Dr. Dyer has, he's definitely had greatness in his life and exemplified that, I guess, So that's awesome. I think I didn't hop into this group until you were kind of just getting finished up with cybernetics, and I saw this group as an opportunity to stretch and to grow and to meet with like-minded people, and it has exceeded my expectations. We have such great people on here, and so yeah, I'm really grateful that you started this, Samantha. It was so odd how it all came to be. I was in a totally different direction when I found this, and I think it was through Sandy and through you and Catherine that I ended up coming into this, and some people that aren't here anymore too, Danielle and there was a couple others. So I'm just so grateful to them too. Everybody's had an impact, and it's one thing I'd like to point out is like I see greatness in a lot of people that go out and or maybe they don't go out to do this specifically, but during their life, they may be going through a lot of stuff personally, but they make an effort to not put that energy out onto other people. And I can just imagine how hard that can be sometimes, because I see people that I know are going through a lot of stuff in their life and their families, and with their families and everything, and a lot of struggles. But on the outside and to everyone else, they seem like they're perfectly fine, and they do what they can to kind of keep positive energies flowing around them. And I think that is really greatness, because I mean, how difficult is that to do? And I mean, you're dealing with things on your by yourself, and you're not seeking I mean, you're almost not even seeking the help that you need sometimes, and putting yourself out there as, hey, I need, if you're a wounded person, but you're coming out. If you're someone like that, you're coming out and you're actually putting more effort into brightening other people's days than accepting or making a big deal about your own drama in your life. I mean, those types of people are great too. So I mean, there's so many levels of greatness. I don't want people to think that, well, if you're not a Wayne Dyer, or if you're not a great public speaker, or if you're not going out every day and volunteering somewhere, that you're not great. We're all dealing with certain levels of frustration and struggle, and we're also exemplifying greatness in our lives at certain levels as well. So if we can learn to recognize that greatness in ourselves, I think that can help, because I'm sitting here thinking about, how I can, all the greatness in other people, but how does that really help? How does that help me to pull the greatness out of myself? I think first we need to be able to recognize it, and maybe, verses like this can help us to recognize that within ourselves, and not just be looking at seeing how great everything else is around us, but, really seeing that flow through us and recognizing that it is within us. And I like what it talks about with nature, being able to see that through nature, and to know that that's inherently within us, so we can find that, but obviously nature has, its own, it's confined to its own abilities to whether or not to express it or not. Like you said, you don't know if a tree that's not growing and not getting enough shade is a little jealous or not of the other trees or whatever, but it's I mean, you could imagine that. I like how Ms. Kara talking about personifying that bush and seeing that, it has a life to it. It's not just itself, but incorporates other aspects of life and nature. And, that is, sometimes our quiet consistency is just enough to help others and be there for them. There's so much to this, so, but everybody's got some greatness in them. I
really like that.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. That was awesome, that speech here, because it's individually, we all have something we're great at, and definitely if we go out there and look for that, and I'm not even talking about a college degree, just something we really can do for the world and something we're all awesome at. That's really what I think a big part of life is about, is just finding what it is in you that you can rock on. But I have to leave for another meeting, but it was great hanging out with everybody, and hopefully you can find what you're good at it, and when you do, you can be proud of it and work with it, and then you won't even have to brag about it, because your efforts and your passion for whatever it is you do will speak for itself. Thank you.
Thanks for jumping on with us, Kareem.
Later, guys.
See ya.
Take care. Yeah, that's
Sorry, I had to run away for a little bit. I had to take a phone call, but I'll just close with, you're all great. And I love you all, and I love this hangout. It really always changes my day. It's a great way to start the weekend and everything. So thank you.
You're awesome, Sandy. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate just exactly what you said, Jason. Everybody has greatness within them, and you can't base your, when you think about yourself or what might be great, you can't base that on accomplishments and comparing yourself against all these, like comparing yourself with Gandhi or Mother Teresa or somebody. You can't think that you have to do things that great, because greatness can be just being there to listen to a friend when they need it, It can be stopping the car to get that turtle across the road before somebody runs over. Who knows? There's so many little tiny things that people do every day in their lives that they don't recognize the importance of them. And I think that just be yourself, because your greatness will come out. If a lot of people try to emulate other people, and that's okay, if you recognize something. But this is the thing, you've probably heard the saying, if you spot it, you got it. So if you're recognizing and seeing this beauty and this greatness in somebody else, it's a reflection of something within you. So as you give praise to others, just remember a little bit, that beauty is just being mirrored back at you, what you have within you, or you wouldn't recognize it, So, and yes, every one of you here are amazingly fantastic, and I just love each and every one of you. And Karen, even just not Karen, Donna, even just the mention of like the end of this, it's like the end of it. No, we're going to be like 90 years old sitting here with our coffee talking about this stuff. So I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Let me just pop out real quick, Kathy? Awesome. Listen, I didn't mean for you got it, Kathy. You finished. You always come along. It's like you catch the rebound for me. I love it. And everything that was said there from the beginning to the end, or what part I caught. And when we do that, it's all because Samantha asked a question, a direct question. Well, and I always have, I speak for myself now. I can't speak for anybody else. But, when I think the good book says it, or I heard it from my parents when I was growing up, it says, always give honor where honor is due. That's respect. That's respect all day long. You can't add or take away from that. But there's sometimes when we're given that honor, I've had some people that get offended by that, if this makes sense. And I'm going to leave it to everybody. And I love each and every one of you all that I've got to know, because listen, all of you guys have affected me in just ways you'll never know. But before I lose my train of thought here, is that it's just that when you start calling names, it seems like you just get yourself all in a mess, because people get offended by that. But if they don't understand, that's what I'm trying to say. If they don't understand that one little key thing, that all you're doing is giving honor where honor is due, that's not like leaving you out. Like, I don't have children, but I'm thinking about children. And what Karen said earlier, that was such a great analogy, what she said about the tree. But if you're taught that, or if you understand that, you won't have any problem with people recognizing people. I hope that made sense. You all have a great day.
Thanks, Donna.
Thanks, Donna. Anybody else have final thoughts before we wrap up for today?
I'd just like to mention that, well, first of all, I wanted to tell Jason how much I enjoyed that line that he gave, and since I can't look at it, it's probably going to be all messed up, but he said something to the effect that sometimes our greatness is mediocre to us. And I think that's probably just about all the time, because man, that just kind of blew everything out of my brain. I was so benefited by reading a comment this week on Tim Ferriss's site. And again, I don't know, I've mentioned this before, but probably not here. I don't know how I was on Tim Ferriss's site at the time that I was, because I don't think I even read his thing. I don't know what was going on, but I noticed that this one person, she had given a couple of comments, and then, some other people commented, and one person was saying something about, the article must have been about getting stuff out of your life that you don't need. And he said, talk about getting stuff out of my life that I don't need. Things like Candy Crush Saga and blah, blah, blah. And she came back in and she commented and she said, Candy Crush Saga has been given credit for helping some people to lose weight and to overcome depression. Well, I am just not into games. I've just never liked games. They bore the heck out of me. I fall asleep while people are playing games, and I thought, I have got to follow this through. Unfortunately, she'd given the name of the person and what she was referring to. I went there. My goodness, that's going to serve me the rest of my life. But then I came back to thank her, to leave a comment to her comment and thank her for that. And I went and looked at her and I thought, oh my word, how many peers and mentors and like-minded souls can you have in your life before you just completely pass over? I mean, I think it's funny that Catherine's talking about being 90. I mean, some of us are going to be 90 sooner than others and have to say sayonara. So that's it. Thanks.
Oh, thanks, Karen. I think that comes back to that reminder of what we were saying earlier about not realizing the impact that someone or something is having on other people, and we just immediately judge it for what we think it is when it has absolutely nothing to do with that, or it may not. Kind of like this whole Pokemon thing. Is it the Pokemon deal where people are out treasure hunting Pokemon or something like that, and people are making fun of it and everything else, but yet then there's the other side of it where it's getting kids outside, kids that normally just sit behind the computer or the television or their video games or whatever, and now all of a sudden they're outside in nature, and sure, they're still with their head stuck in their phone, but they're meeting people, they're connecting with others, there's all these different good aspects of that. And I think that was a pretty neat app that somebody came up with, where I don't know what their intention was, but that's kind of how I see it. So, I mean, sure, everybody can come up with a negative thing for it, and, but you can come up with a negative thing for anything, right? But then there's those of us who try and look for the positive thing in everything, right? Because there's always a positive side. You can't have negative without positive. So let's look at the positive side, right? And the other thing I wanted to address is that a lot of people see whatever it is that they're doing as mediocre or less than or that sort of thing, and we have to remember that whatever we feel compelled to do, that thing that's inside of us that feels good when we do it, and I'm not saying just sensory feeling good, but feeling good like that feels right, is something that is great. And it's following that inner guidance and doing what you feel compelled to do. Like this Saturday morning mastermind, I had no idea where it was going to go or what was going to happen with it, but I felt compelled to do it. And here we are 3.5 years later, and connecting with more awesome and amazing people and learning from each other. And oh my God, Catherine, when you said we'll be sitting here until we're 90, we'll be doing this, I'm like, I love that. I love that, because I've been having these little things here and there over the past, couple of months where I felt so overwhelmed with everything that's going on. And I felt like I haven't really had enough time to dedicate to this, and it hasn't been my first priority, but we keep coming back. And I realize that this is just something that I need to do, and it may not be my first priority right now, but I still have a strong belief that this is, there's more to it than what we've got going on right now. And I don't know what that future holds, but I am right there with you, Catherine. I'll be here when I'm 90, and we'll be sitting on here, we'll be talking and drinking our coffee. So thank you guys. Okay, I know we're after the top of the hour, and I appreciate everybody sticking with us and keeping going with this conversation. We've all shared so much, and again, I appreciate you all so very much. And for those of you who are watching this as a recording, okay, so here's the websites where you can find us. I'm going to list these off, a couple different ones, okay? So first of all, mindsetmasterycollective.com is our website. That's where you can find all our blog posts and find a lot of our replays and follow the discussion and add your thoughts and that sort of thing. And then you can find the details for each of our weekly broadcasts by going to SaturdayMorningMastermind.com. I always redirect that to the most up-to-date blog posts for the week. And then if you want to join our discussion and actually participate on this panel or call in and talk to us, then you can go to zoom.saturdaymorningmastermind.com, and that will take you to the page that has all the instructions for joining our discussion each week. So, and we want to have you come on. So you don't have to just watch, you can participate. And that's how you can do it. I don't know how many people we can have on here at one time with a Zoom. That's, how many is it? 50? Is that what you're? 50? Yeah, so we still have plenty of room for y'all. Come and join us. Okay, so that's it for today, you guys. Have an awesome, amazing, wonderful weekend. And again, you can always find the details of our broadcast at SaturdayMorningMastermind.com. And if you like this video, click like, share it, share the video, share the post, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all those fun and awesome, amazing things. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now.